Hello Epic Gamers, welcome. Now super quick before we begin, this clip is stolen from SNEAKO. Now I will do a little commentary after we watch the clip, it's only like a minute or so, on Tristan on Psychedelics. Now I highly recommend you check out SNEAKO just because he's on the same wavelength as Andrew and Tristan Tate, and he's definitely been up in his game recently in terms of awakening. He's also just about to release a course of the same nature as Andrew where he just teaches you everything he knows about money and creativity, I guess. It's called the Creativity Kit. Watch this video. He explains it super quickly. It's pretty funny in terms of sheeple and mass awakening, and just it's a funny video. So yeah, check out SNEAKO. And the reason why I'm doing this also is because on my main channel the other day I released this video one day ago. Andrew Tate is wrong about psychedelics, correcting the stigma of psychedelics, where I react to, in my opinion, Andrew's ignorant take on psychedelics. So there's that, there's all the plugs, there's the disclaimers, sorry for being long. Now we're going to watch this video. I will not be here, so I'm going to disappear. And then I'll come back on and I'll take notes while I'm watching it, and then we'll have a little talk about what Tate said. So I'll see you in a minute. Also, I don't disagree with Tate, with Tristan on this one. He's got a much more down-to-earth and open-minded view, less arrogant. So yeah, let's just watch it and let's go!
There's my advice. Opinion on psychedelics? I know a lot of people. I know a lot of successful people who have said psychedelics have opened their mind. Psychedelics have made them see things a different way. But I don't know any high-value rich people who have said these psychedelics are what made me successful and rich. Again, I preach anti-drug all the time. And I know very high-functioning, wealthy people who sniff cocaine. I know very high-functioning, wealthy people who smoke marijuana. That doesn't mean that it's the coke or the marijuana or the psychedelics or whatever drug it is that made them who they are. I smoke cigars. Now, a classic example is every day on Instagram, I'm tagged in 50 stories of young guys with cigars in their mouth saying, yeah, I'm top G like Andrew, or I'm like the talisman. You think the cigar makes me who I am? Seriously? So psychedelics, good. If you live a very happy, successful, fulfilling life and you wish to take psychedelics to look at things from another angle, good. I won't, and I don't want to, but I don't believe they're going to make you rich or successful. I don't believe they're going to benefit you in any way apart from having a cool experience. This cigar doesn't benefit me in any way. I'm just having a good, yeah.
An LSD trip really actually changed my life. When I was 18, I had stopped making YouTube videos for like 2-3 years. I had started when I was really young, when I was like 14. And then I was going through, I was basically just being lazy. And then this one specific acid trip, like, I don't know if you ever taken psychedelics, but it just makes you confront everything that you're ignoring. Yeah, you don't do drugs. But it made me confront everything. Since then, I've taken it, and honestly, I had a really bad time. Like the last 3-4 times I've taken it. I don't recommend it. It wasn't life-changing. It was mostly just like, sitting down, being dumb and too high. But this one specific trip, it was a bad trip, really changed my life and made me confront everything that I was ignoring. And that was the next day I started uploading YouTube videos again.
Yeah, well, also, and I'm very happy for you, but I feel like a good long look in the mirror or a conversation with a high-value dude who you aspire to be could do exactly the same thing.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I've sat with people and had short conversations with them, and they were like, come back a few years later, that conversation changed my life. And it's just another way of opening your eyes. But you have the power within yourself to do that without other people, without other influence, without the influence of psychedelics, in my opinion. I mean, you have that. You have that power. Everyone has that power.
Someone said, how can I make...
I'm back. Hello. So yeah, that was the clip. So now I took a few notes and I have a few things now. So first of all, in terms of SNEAKO saying confronting everything that is in your subconscious, like everything you've been ignoring, I have a little trip report for you that I've never released, and that was a 6-gram magic mushroom trip where it was weird the way it happened actually. So I made it like a ceremonial setting, as I like to do, because psychedelics are seemingly inherently spiritual. So it was weird. I set an alarm at 2 AM, yeah. I woke up at 2 AM in the middle of my sleep. I ran a freezing cold bath, like just cold water, but trust me mate, a cold bath, like full blast cold with the tap, that shit is really cold. And I led in it for about 5 nearly 10 minutes maybe, and that lowering yourself into the bath like slowly like that is the hardest part. Anyway, I led in there because there's a lot of health benefits to the cold showers, but it's also because they clear your mind, because good luck with all your mental bullshit when you're in survival mode because you're freezing cold. And that is why cold showers are very powerful, because they dissolve the bullshit, because you're like, fuck. And that's what I found. If I ever start going into a bad trip, if I get into a cold shower, it just dissolves my bullshit. And I use them all the time. It's like a reset. But anyway, I done that. I got out of the bath. I was boiling hot, like immediately. And then about 10 minutes after, I was freezing cold for about an hour. I then ingested the 6 grams as soon as I got out of the bath. And then I led on the sofa, and I was trying to, like, it felt very uncomfortable on my body, this dose that I ingested, because it's a lot eating these mushrooms. They taste like shit. So I was trying to distract myself with the TV and go on YouTube, and I was like, how long am I going to scroll and look for something that isn't there? Because I was scrolling for ages while trying to ignore what this trip was trying to present to me, which we'll get to in a second. And I was like, there's nothing on here, this is just a load of shit. And eventually I put the remote down and I laid down in my blanket in the dark at 2 AM. And this is when the psychedelics opened up. And this is what they do, they seem to open up eventually. Like, you take them, within an hour or two, they like blossom. So I led there, and that is when my subconscious mind poured forth. And I faced everything. And it was almost like, do you ever feel like you're running away from the truth? Like, you distract yourself with your phone, as if you know that you're full of shit, but you hide it with all your bullshit. So this is when the floodgates opened, and this is why psychedelics are so powerful, because I literally began to swim through my mind for about 6 hours, and it was a trance, and I led there. It was a bad experience, but it was a mindful bad experience, because I knew what was happening. I wasn't delusional like my, if you want a really bad experience, check out this fucking trip report. 7 gram extreme terror trip. That is how bad psychedelics can get, so have a look at that if you're interested. But yeah, I led there, the floodgates opened, and I was literally swimming through all of my problems. And as I was confronting them, I remember I said out loud once, I was like, yeah, why the fuck would you do that, you idiot? And it was loads of things. And yeah, it was like a very honest, because your ego can dissolve on psychedelics, and this is why they can be very powerful. And this is why I warn Andrew Tate about his take on psychedelics, because they dissolve the ego, they dissolve the sense of self. And when that happens to somebody who is built on only an ego, take for example Conor Murphy. Yeah, if you don't know who Conor Murphy is, he was built on ego, and he is now, because he makes these videos, yeah, they're very strange. He walks around and takes his shirt off, and I don't know if that's like really an egoic thing, in front of girls, and they're like, oh my god, in various different ways. This is like the worst kind of content I don't know who the fuck watches this. But anyway, he took ayahuasca, or ayahuasca as Andrew Tate calls it in this video. He took ayahuasca and he went fucking insane. So can we find when psychedelics go? If you want to see his story, I recommend you check it out, because he went full blast insane. I don't know if I can find any clips. There are a lot of this is a good documentary, Sunny V2. Just look at the beginning. I'll show you. This is evidence. This is evidence.
Every single conspiracy theory you ever know is 100% true. The government is reptilian overlords. Joe Rogan is in on it. Elon Musk is in on it. Tiger Woods is in on it. You can check my story. I've been messaging them. I am forgetting and knowing that is how I created the plan. I can't do the plan if I knew it the whole time, because I'd be cracking up, so I make myself forget. I am infinitely intelligent, so I can make myself forget.
Conor Murphy.
And this is the thing about psychedelics, and this is almost the paradigm that I'm in. I read a lyric once. What was it? It was I wake and bake at 2:30, early blaze away my pain because my 2:30, feeling lazy, back to sleeping like I'm Conor Murphy, sleeping, sheeping, really thinking, drinking, do not hurt me, which is a song I never released. But back to sleeping like I'm Conor Murphy refers to Conor Murphy is normal again now, and to the psychosis psychedelic people, Conor Murphy was awake and now he's asleep. Now, I know he's literally absurd, but the thing about the psychedelics, and a very good example of this also would be actualize.org, right? He seems to deliver truths but they are borderline insane. And if you start from the ground up, from the very beginning of the channel, you'll see what I mean. This is some of his more radical stuff, and he got way more radical in terms of spirituality and psychedelics, and it seems like insanity. But even Actualize said himself that there is no difference from insanity and awakening or spiritual enlightenment. And I was watching a video earlier as well of similar nature. There is a very strong correlation between insanity and psychedelics. Anyway, I'm sorry for going off on a tangent. So yeah, anyway, so I had this trip and I swam through my mind and I confronted my problems. And that's when my ego dissolved, and that's when I realised that I'm full of shit. And that's why they're powerful. Anyway, so that was that trip report. After that, I felt rejuvenated. There's an afterglow often after these experiences. But psychedelics are not a magic pill, unless it's 5-MeO-DMT, and even that isn't magic pill because you still have to work and embody the teachings, as they call say there's a mushroom called the golden teachers. And if you're not aware, these things are being used for the fucking literally all over the history of the universe. A good example, if you go on actualize.org, he has a 2-part series of correcting the stigma of psychedelics, and there are more. You can correct the stigma of psychedelics if you do enough research just alone. So yeah, I recommend you check out these videos and do more research if you've got an Andrew Tate paradigm, because I believe it is ignorance ultimately. Not that psychedelics are the end-all be-all, but on top of an already stable, good life, they can be incredibly, trust me. And another very good important point, yeah. So let's move on now. So Tristan said that psychedelics are like, he doesn't know anybody who is successful purely because of psychedelics. Now, I'm not successful, whatever you define that as. Like, I'm a small channel and I have fuck all money. Literally, I am the definition of beyond brokey, because I've been broke for a long time because of my bad habits or whatever the fuck. But anyway, my entire channel is a pure manifestation of psychedelics. My first video, which is awful, do not watch, it's a waste of time, where I took 4 grams and I got hit with a trance. Like I say, the psychedelics reveals your subconscious mind, and that is when I realised in real time that I am a wage slave. And if it wasn't for the psychedelics, this would never have happened. And same with the next video. This was a very empowering experience. My old videos, I don't rate them too much. I will be evolving it very heavily, and I've got deep content coming in the future, and I want to provide massive value. So please, if you would help me fulfill my vision, that would mean the absolute world. But yeah, I picked up a camera on the whim, and I'll tell you, it's not that it's not that it gave me the idea to make the YouTube channel. It's that I have tried numerous times to make a YouTube channel and make the intro to my channel video or whatever. But I found whenever I tried to make the video, I couldn't do it because of my sober, overthinking mind. But the psychedelics allowed me to finally be spontaneous and just let the energy flow. And when that happened, that is when I was able to set the foundations for my channel. And yeah, and even these videos, if you want more humble videos of mine, I've got experience versus concept, dissolve illusions in the present moment, and this is when I took psychedelics, and this is one from yesterday as well. I took more psychedelics, and they can give you very deep, legit awakenings. Like the other day, I had a awakening of no mind, where my mind stopped. There was no more thoughts, and therefore I realised that you live in a story, and that is very deep shit. And then they taught me a fuck ton about the present moment. They've taught me, they teach you about health, which is another thing. So if we go to Tristan was saying about how he knows extremely successful people who snort cocaine and sniff cigars, which is okay, but it depends what you define as success, because inherently, if I'm snorting cocaine, I've failed, because health is the foundation for your life, and if you want to live a spiritual life and be able to trust your intuition and trust your perception and reality, I believe that health is the foundation. So if I'm filled with toxins, you are what you eat, and psychedelics have taught me that massively. because they give you a very deep body awareness. For example, on the trip report that I was talking about earlier, I became my body, so that, you know how there's always a body awareness, but you're not actually really in tune into it exactly. On the psychedelics, you can become the field of your body awareness, and you can't escape. Sometimes it will happen. Like, I remember I felt my feet very, very strongly, and I was like, it was weird, because you can become the essence of what you observe on psychedelics, and you are, and that is why I had a no self-awakening. But yeah, deeper stuff, yeah, I remember on that trip report I was telling you about earlier as well, my jaw started vibrating as well. Very profound, very strange trance. And it wasn't until I got up off the sofa I realised the profundity of what I just went through. Psychedelics have a tendency of not revealing the profundity until you reflect on it in a sober mind state, because you can get deep in another world, mate. Anyway, let's continue. So what other notes did I take? So you don't need them, and that is true, you don't need them. And I have actually basically just thrown the biggest value of my life away almost. I won't get into that, but it's kind of because of the psychedelics, but it's more because society at large does not accept the psychedelic paradigm, and that's why I'm here talking, trying to make a difference, trying to fuel the mass awakening, and that is my mission, I guess, ultimately. So you don't need them, and psychedelics, I think they can be incredibly useful, incomprehensibly useful. However, it is on you to build a solid foundation, and psychedelics get to the metaphysical and the existential core and fabric of your soul and reality, and that is very useful, and I'll tell you why it's very useful. A big reason is because before I started taking psychedelics again, about a year or so ago, I was like, why would I take psychedelics? Because I am satisfied with my path that is in front of me. However, when I took psychedelics, I realised that I was actually not satisfied with the path that I was on, as these new truths arose and these new awakenings that evolved my moral orientation, and that's what they can do. So you might think you don't want psychedelics until you take them, and then you go, fuck me, my whole paradigm was wrong. and that's when you really, and that's why I invest in them. I've invested well over £1,000, probably a lot more, in psychedelics. I've had a good 50 mushroom trips in the past 3 years alone, a good few LSD trips. Always test your tabs, and they've definitely profoundly changed my fundamentals. And that's what I mean. You can succeed, but you might take them and then realise what you defined as success was actually not important. And this is what I was saying in a sense, like, I don't know. But anyway, that's that. What else have we got? I can't read my own fucking handwriting. A different view. So yeah, like I say, they give you different views, and so it's almost like a therapist. Like, people go look at testimonials of psychedelics is a very good idea, but people people say that you learn more in a psychedelic experience. It's like 100 years of therapy crammed into what was it? And then crammed into like a timeless dimension almost. So it, you know, but in real time it can take an hour or so. And even DMT, yeah. This is what Terence McKenna. I think the first time Terence McKenna, a psychedelic master, I super recommend you check out his lectures. He is in another dimension, mate, but they're very interesting, and you can't even comprehend half the shit he's talking about, because when you take too many of these things, you become incomprehensible to your tribe, because complexity evolves. But he said that, I think the first time he tried DMT, it was the most compressed moment of growth in the history of the universe. It shattered his whole paradigm immediately, and if you're looking in, DMT is the most profound, or particularly 5-MeO DMT, and regardless of your views on psychedelics, and this is what I said on the video about Andrew, regardless how you want to interpret the experience, the profundity and the absurdity and the abstractness and chaos or whatever and the complexity is still there. So whether or not you're going to approach it with some sort of spiritual dogma or anything of that nature, regardless, if you smoke toad venom, you enter a timeless dimension. It's a 100% reality swap. There's no space really, there's no time. You can gain new senses almost. And it's 100% reality swap, and that's what it is. And at the end of the day, the notion that you take a psychedelic basically dissolves, and the reason that is because of what I just said. At the end of the day, you discover a material within reality that just so happens to be toad venom in the Amazon, I believe, and when you smoke it, 100% reality swap. Literally. Like, think about what the pinnacle of drugs could potentially be. How far could you go? So yeah, fucking hell. What else have we got? I can't read my own. I'm so fucking sorry. Right, look in the mirror. I won't show you my handwriting because I had to write this extremely quick because he was going very fast. So when you look in the mirror on, well, not on psychedelics, but that is weird. But he was on about looking in the mirror or having a deep conversation with somebody in order to get the same personal development and growth that you could get from a psychedelic experience. Yes and no. It depends how much humility or humble or what kind of character you are, because psychedelics will slap you in the face. And they will completely tear you apart. Like I say, on my bad experience, I decided I had to kill myself and life was meaningless, the present moment meaningless, sure. So it was an absolute ego annihilation, and that you're not going to get an ego annihilation from looking in the mirror, unfortunately, unless you do breath work. And that's another thing, you can get to psychedelic states without taking psychedelics, which is bizarre. And that's the thing, DMT is actually endogenous. It is within your system already, so you can activate it through breath work, supposedly. Don't fact check me, but endless people claim this, and I've had a lot of experience with breath work. And if you don't know what breath work is, do the Wim Hof guided breathing method, because this will change your life if you do it properly. I mean, maybe it won't, but this shit is outer body, it is no mind, it is presence, and it can be a gateway into no self experiences. So this is one of the most fundamental things that I recommend you check out. And, you know, I wish people would invest in my practices a little bit, because people think they are qualified to speak on things and they think they know. However, when I allude to practices such as breath work, nobody will invest the time, which I find very bizarre. The fact that I am being killed by society in a sense, because, and especially my family life, is that nobody agrees with my paradigm, but nobody is even willing to look at it at all. So what was a post I put on here a while ago about the Wim Hof method? It was a bit of an ego trip, but I'll read you it anyway. I said, when the fuck will you all stop thinking I've lost the plot and find out for yourself? You really think all of this is just airy fairy fluffy ideas? It is not. I could go on, but most of you have already made up your mind. Watch how your mind applies concepts and meanings to my word. Enough said, do the practices start here. Profundity depends on how many rounds and how deep you go. Also read the comments to see testimonials of how breathing method transforms countless lives, including my own, and do the same with psychedelics. I'll be making an extensive list in the future of various methods and techniques of similar nature on my YouTube. You have nothing to lose, find out for yourself. And this also is it's of the same nature as the cold shower, and this is actually where the ice therapy came from, for me originally. So yeah, so these practices can wave off depression. This is where I originally found the power in this about 2 years ago, is when I found myself getting in a depressive state slowly. Wim Hof dissolves depression. So that's why that shit is fucking powerful. So anyway, have we got anything else? Do them after success, I already talked about that. I think that's it. Oh no, high on your own supply. That's what Wim Hof says. Get high on your own supply. And that's it. Through breathwork and through meditation, there are other ways to get there, but if you're looking for a paradigm shift, psychedelics can help fuel that. So that is all, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I'll leave SNEAKO's links in the description. Thank you very much, SNEAKO, and I hope you enjoyed. This, unfortunately, is going to be apparently the last time I'm in this crib of mine. So say goodbye to my room, and that's it. I will see you soon, and I hope you got some value from this video. And that's all. Thank you very much. Sound.